There we go. All right, welcome to today's Q&A. This is a trucking questions, trucking answers type Q&A. My name is Jessie. I'm with Decker Truckline, and that's really what this is all about, an opportunity for you to ask your questions. I can start to answer them, kind of get some specifics to what you're looking for. So if you're wondering what we have available out of your area, make life easy for me. Put either your zip code or your city and state, and then I'll be able to be more specific with my answer. And then if you're even more so, if you have experience, let me know how much experience you have in years, and then I can let you know what the rate of pay is, along with what you can expect for a minimum pay. So to kind of give you a background here, Decker has been around since 1931. We're a very well-established trucking company with refrigerated and flatbed mostly. We have some Conestoga and some van as well, but those positions are full. So right now, availability would be the refrigerated and flatbed positions. We'll talk about the specifics, and we do that week to week. We'll also talk about some of the benefits, the equipment we have, the lanes we run. Just if you've got questions, bring them on. Let's get those answered. My chat is not showing up, so maybe I need to figure out what's going on there so that I can actually answer these questions. Add stream. All right. I just want to make sure that I'm able to answer your guys' questions. It's showing me, got a monkey saying that something went wrong. So let's see what I got here. Bear with me if you would. Let me see if I can't get this going for you. It's coming. Slowly but surely. I'm going to open up another tab, so hopefully I can answer your guys' questions so I can see them. You know, if I can't see them, it doesn't do you any good being a Q&A, right? You're like, yes, exactly. My point exactly, lady. All right. Watching. All right. Let's click on this. Yeah, I know, weird. Okay. So I'm able to see them here, but not here. Why is that? I'm not able to see them at all right now. That's strange to me. All right. Well, it is what it is. Let's just assume I know the answers to the questions, right? Or the questions you're asking. Is that what I'm saying? We'll figure it out. Where's my chat? Yeah, there you go. Welcome. Live chat. There we go. Okay. There we have it. Sorry, you guys. What a pain in the rear, right? We got you. We'll get you. We just have to do it a different way. There we go. All right, let me see your comments, or go ahead and write a comment in there, and I'll be able to see it. That's why. That is why. There we go. It's coming, you guys. Slowly but surely. Sorry about this. There. All right, let's get these questions answered for you. For the available positions, like I said, we have refrigerated and we have flatbed. Right now, over the road would get you home about every 2 to 3 weeks in the refrigerated division. Flatbed, you're looking at more home every other weekend. It's pretty common for flatbed to get home on the weekends, whereas the refrigerated, that's not necessarily the case. So now, hey Riley, how are you doing, bud? Okay, so I am seeing chats, just not in. Hopefully it doesn't screw up my stream since I have all these different windows open. So yes, we have refrigerated and flatbed. Refrigerated, you're going to see a lot in the Midwest, and then we also have out west. But that's for our over the road. So if you're looking to stay more regional, you can expect to basically you can expect to see a lot of Midwest and a lot towards the east, like the Carolinas and Georgia and Tennessee, Ohio. Oh, I struggled with that one. So that's where you would see more of the more regional position. It's not our coast to coast is runs more out west than our more regional. So even though both of them are out about 11 days, 2 weeks at a time, it's more of where you're running, your preference, and based off of where you live. So for example, if you live out of Missoula, Montana, where we do have a terminal in Missoula, you're looking at getting home every 2 to 3 weeks and then home for 4 days, where if you're in the Kansas City area, we can get you home every 11 days right now for 3. So that's kind of what it looks like. Hey, Leotin, how are ya? Love to hear that. Sorry things didn't work out for you, though. I hate to hear that, but yeah, did you get a hold of the recruiters? See what we can do. Speaking of, the telephone number to the recruiting department is right across the screen here. 877-433-2537. 877-433-2537. And that'll get you on over there. I'm going to turn off this video and hopefully I can still see the chats as they come in. I'm hoping. Because it is difficult here. All right. Yeah, and that way you can speak to a recruiter directly. They'll be able to be more specific on where we can hire out of, and if you meet the qualifications. So qualifications, for those of you who aren't familiar, we do require 6 months of over-the-road experience, unless you're a recent graduate. If you're a recent graduate of an approved school, then we can work with it as long as you come directly to us. Okay, I gotcha. As long as you come directly to us. If you've been with another company, then there's a requirement of 6 months of experience. Now, the exception is that you do need at least 6 months of flatbed experience if you want to get into our over-the-road flatbed division. You also need, if you don't have 6 months of flatbed specific experience for that, then you would need a year of tractor trailer, and then we can go ahead and train you in the flatbed. So that's going to be the difference between some of our other divisions that we can train versus our over-the-road flatbed division, where we do require those specific questions or those specific experience. Now, our Midwest division in the refrigerated and the flatbed, we can train in those divisions. Just keep in mind that you do have to be a recent graduate of an approved school. It has to be within the last month or 2. If it's over 6 months old, then you'll have to get experience before coming aboard to us. And then we also have the requirement, like I said, 6 months of experience otherwise, but we'll also offer the training for flatbed or for refrigerated. You go out with a trainer for about 2 to 3 weeks, and we pay you $700 a week while you're with a trainer. Now, ideally, you have the experience. Meeting the minimum experience requirement obviously would be starting you at a higher rate of pay per mile. It will also, not only would you start at a higher rate of pay per mile, you'll be going solo from then. So if you've already got some experience and that's the way you want to go, I would say, stick it out where you're at until you have that full 6 months so that you'll qualify. And also important to note, if you were at multiple companies during those 6 months, you probably wouldn't qualify because of some of our stricter employment, like background requirements. And the reason I say that is because we're looking for professional drivers who are looking to come on for long term. We're looking for longevity. We celebrate longevity. If you've noticed on our weekly Q&As on our Facebook page, we always do birthdays and anniversaries, because not only do I love them because they're fun, I like to recognize everybody, but it's the longevity is important. Making sure that we're taking good care of you, getting to know you and how you like to run. Obviously, that is really important as well. Building those type of relationships with our professional drivers is obviously going to help improve systems, so that's a huge plus, right? All right. I lost my comments. Hang on. Doesn't do me much good if I can't see them. Okay. So yeah, those are things that we definitely take into consideration. You've got to be at least 21 years of age. No major moving violations, no accidents, nothing like that in the last 3 years, minimum. In some cases, it's even further beyond, depending on if you have a history of speeding, then that's something that we're going to be looking at. We can't work with more than 2 tickets within the last 36 months. If you have more than 2 tickets in the last 36 months, we'll have to wait till at least they all fall off except for one. Like, we can work with one in the last 12 months. We just can't work with more than that. If that makes sense. Yeah, like I said, if you have questions, feel free. I'm trying to stay up on the comments. I'm just not sure if it's responding. And then so those are the basic qualifications. Like I said, we do look at your work history. We look that you're obviously at least 21 years of age, a valid Class A CDL, no restrictions, no what else do I want to say? Well, no driving without a valid license, or just no major moving violations within the last 3 years. That's the important part. None of that. And no DOT or recordable accidents within the last 3 years. Now, if you had a backing incident and you've got that on your history, but it's not a DOT recordable accident, meaning you weren't ticketed for it, you don't have any, nobody was injured, there's no fatalities, then it wasn't a large expense as far as the insurance claim, then you're going to be okay. That we can work with one of those in the last year or two, but we can't work with that if it's a DOT recordable accident. That's going to be the difference. Cool. All right. I think we're okay with the connection here. Super sorry if it's bad, you guys. I don't really know what's going on here. Yesterday we had a bad one as well, so that was more audio, just audio issues. All right. Now for the flatbed, we do have available positions out of Tennessee. Some of our hiring areas have changed just a little bit. If you've noticed, if you've been following Decker at all, you notice that we've done a little bit of restructuring in our driver leaders. So they're in Fort Dodge this week. We're making a big to-do about it. They're in Fort Dodge this week getting some pretty decent in-depth training to make sure that we are powered and ready for just for this new venture. So the driver leader program, what that is all about is basically we have 18 driver leaders who are replacing our driver managers, and some of them you'll notice have been driver managers in the past, but instead of just renaming them, we are creating this position to help really to collaborate with our professional drivers already and work together to really accomplish obviously the goals of the company, but also the goals of our drivers, which oftentimes, more often than not, are, hey, get me more miles. You're looking at your paycheck. You're looking at making sure that you're maximizing your pay because you're out there, you're working. That's exactly what you're wanting to do is to get the biggest bang for the buck, right? Okay, so their job is to make sure that they are working for you, but they're also working for the company. So they've got numbers behind it. This is more data driven than it has been in the past. So when we're looking at, trying to give some good examples here. Let's say we're looking at Texas in our flatbed division. Well, we've got a lot of professional drivers out of Texas. And when you're looking at our freight, our customer market and of course the number of drivers that we have out of there, we need to make sure that there's a good balance. Not only a good balance to get them home, which is what we've looked at in the past, but also a good revenue balance. So we're wanting to make sure that we've got the right customers in the right locations to maximize for our drivers. Now, our driver leaders, these new driver leaders that we have, they are going to be more responsible for encouraging driver accountability. Things that you guys are in control of, your hours of service, your safety, OTD. I mean, you're going to be working together with these driver leaders to maximize the full potential of Decker. And if you've been watching, and a lot of you have obviously been paying attention to the markets and the industry, because you kind of have to anymore, right? I mean, you got to know what's going on. And if you've been watching, it's kind of flipped to what it's been in the past. And there's a lot more customer and consumer demands that the industry is starting to adjust to. Maybe smaller loads, like not as heavy loads, or maybe they're heavier loads in some locations, but they're not running as often out of those particular locations. I mean, it's just different economics that the industry is starting to adjust to, or trying to adjust to. And fleet management is obviously going to be very important to that, as well as part of fleet management is looking at your numbers, knowing your numbers, and exceeding that way. And then also, technology has become really important to recognize those numbers and to manage your clock and your fuel routing. And I mean, there's just full picture of things that we're kind of looking at, and not just Decker. You're seeing that across the industry, but obviously Decker has been known for being one of the top in, one of the industry leaders, especially when it comes to technology, and being one of the first to start implementing those, and kind of being a role model that way. So some of the questions I've been asked with these driver leaders that are coming aboard, and you guys are going to be very familiar with most of these driver leaders. Now, some have moved into some different positions because we feel that they fit it better. But we also have a lot of, like I said, a lot of these driver leaders, you're going to see some pretty familiar names though. But this role, these driver leaders are going to be more advocate for you, because one of the things that I've been asked quite a bit by our professional drivers here at Decker is, how is that going to affect my miles? Is it going to affect my miles? Is it going to affect the distance that I'm running? Well, ultimately, yeah, it should. These guys are supposed to be better, bigger advocates for you so that you are maximizing that. Now, they're not directly choosing the distance that you're doing or the miles that you're assigned to, but they're working more hand in hand with the planning team on behalf of our professional drivers, instead of just kind of being handed options. So it's more of a one team, one goal. I mean that is our mindset for this, and that's how it's all focused. And so we want to keep our professional drivers in the same, I mean, we're all on the same team, and our goal is to maximize our drivers' output and our company overall. So that's key in remembering what these positions represent for our driver leaders. Other question. I'm trying to think of what other questions I've had. For these driver leaders. Yes, so one of the questions that I was asked is are they going to affect, are they going to affect my pay? Possibly but in a positive way, because their job is to improve your accountabilities, improve your controls, right? Your miles, your utilization. And we expect these driver leaders to work hand in hand to make sure that we're setting you up for success. It's not the other way around. Their success is through your success. So that's the goal with them. So that's a pretty darn good question. I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of all the different questions I've had. For the most part, I think it's just individuals wondering how how these driver leaders are going to affect them, or what's going to change for them. As far as the driver themselves, we don't expect a whole lot of change necessarily from you. It's more of the driver leaders, what we expect from our driver leaders. Their accountability is a lot higher. So yes, they're going to hold you accountable for your controllables. Like I said, for your safety and your hours of service, and those are things that are in your control. They're not we're not designing this to ask more of you, but more to provide better support for you, so that you've got bigger advocates, a larger voice in your needs for your miles and the loads that we're looking at. So, what else? Question wise, the driver leaders are in like a full on training in Fort Dodge right now. It's a week-long training. They're learning, kind of getting in-depth look at the economy, understanding it so that they can better inform you of anything that might be affecting you. To appreciate made up of fellow drivers as they receive. They do not. No, they are not. They are not drivers. The driver leaders are. Well, not that some of them haven't been drivers. Yes, some of them have been, but they are not specifically drivers. They're just more advocates for you, like I said. And no, micromanagement is not the goal. Definitely accountability, but micromanagement, we're trying to, the same with the driver leaders, we're trying to equip you, we're trying to equip them with the resources they need in order to help you. But it's not to design any micromanagement for you, it's to offer you the support that when you need it, instead of, hey, I don't know the answer to this, so I need to go get it, or, oh, there's so many variables. I mean, they're going to be equipped with the knowledge to help take those variables into consideration to make a decision for you. And like I said, a lot of that is based on educating them within the industry and helping them to have a better understanding of the full picture. So, very good question. Yeah. What else? I'm bouncing back, so hopefully there's not a huge delay on the thing. Yeah? Okay, well, so part of this whole restructuring and gaining more, I'm trying to think of the word that I want. You hate it when you can't find that word, but more within the trucking industry, it's a lot more. Fleet management is the focus right now, because if you're looking at the statistics and you're diving into some of those numbers, which is really what's happening in the industry right now, you have to look at those numbers in order to figure out successes, what's going to work. You're obviously going to have to test and try, because that's part of any change. But you've got to make changes because the industry is different than it was in the past. The outlook for 2024, 2025, it's different. We're preparing for it. So that's why the fleet management structure has been different. The structure, that's what I wanted. Yeah. Part of that structuring, besides the driver leaders, we've got diving more into the analytics, like I said. So that's where the data-driven information is coming, so that we're feeding that to the leaders, and they're going to have a better understanding of it. But then we also, in the past, we've had driver council, right? So I know a lot of you guys were familiar with the driver council. This is going to be a little bit different. The driver council has kind of been, well, it's been upgraded or restructured. And what you're going to be seeing is what we're calling a forum. So it's going to be a driver leader forum where we'll have our professional drivers, and we're going to only have 4 of our professional drivers on this within this forum. Where in the past we've had like 10, and it was over the phone for the conversation, and it wasn't a full-on discussion. And now we're going to have 4 drivers, and they'll rotate out. We'll have 4 drivers. We'll have 3 driver leaders, and this is going to be an in-person discussion. And I think we'll benefit a whole lot more from those than we would where they were just, above the surface type things. These are going to dive into the surface. We're going to have those deep discussions, and we're going to be talking solutions instead of just problems. We're going to be more solution focused versus, oh, this is wrong and this is wrong, or I don't like this. Well, okay, come to us with solutions. How can we make this better? Let's talk about it. Let's brainstorm some actions we can take to improve on it. So it's going to be more of that type of mentality, which I think is going to be really good for Decker and jumping ahead. So I like to hear that. So that is being implemented as well, and I'm sure we'll get more information out as that comes about. But that's something that'll be quarterly, those quarterly forums. So similar to what we've had in the past, but I think it's going to, because of the way those discussions are going to be designed, where it's not over the phone. I mean, you're able to dig deeper into those conversations. They are in person, and we all know how an in-person conversation can lead to a lot more action than sometimes just what do I want to say, like a virtual event, right? Yeah. So we'll be digging deeper into that. So I'm excited for that forum. That's going to be getting going. We'll get more information as they come out. As I get information, I am trying to get it out to you guys as much as possible. And like I said, with the drivers leaders being in the meeting this week, I just ask for your patience, because I do know that there are fewer people manning the phones through the 9th, but that doesn't mean that they won't be able to get to you. They will. If you need to speak to your driver leader, and it has to be them, then leave them a message, and in between their breaks, they're going to reach out to you. They'll get a hold of you. Otherwise, they'll be like Peggy. She'll be available in the refrigerated side, and Roman will be available in the flatbed. We've got people to help back up as well to take care of any concerns that you might be running into. Okay. All right. I do also want to remind our professional drivers about parking. We have, in our different terminal locations, we have designated areas for the trailers. We have, whether they're loaded or they're empty or they need repairs, we have reserved driver parking, trailer parking, truck and trailer parking out of service. I mean, it's full on. It's described, or it's defined. And if you take a look at our newsletter this week, you actually will see the maps for the different terminal locations. Des Moines and Fort Dodge, we were seeing some trailer parking in the wrong locations. That can damage our parking areas, because those heavy trailers, if you're not parking them on the cement slab, they are sinking into the pavement. So please review those parking maps and park in the right location. If you are new to Decker, you would have received a book, which I don't have handy with me, at least not within reach, but you would have received a workbook during your orientation that actually shows you those specific maps. They're the same exact maps that we posted in the Facebook group. Actually, I didn't post them in the Facebook group, but that's a great idea. I will go ahead and do that. Let me make a note for myself. So post maps in Facebook group. All right, cool. I want to get that out. yeah, so we've had a couple of those that I wanted to address. And anything else? I gotta look at my notes here. Okay, so I think that was like the biggest thing that I wanted to talk to you about was the trailer parking or terminal parking and covering all those grounds. All right, fair enough. Okay, so let me talk about some of the equipment that we have. A lot of you are familiar with our 579 Peterbilts. That's mostly what we have, our 579 Peets. We do have some 780, 760 Volvos for the flatbed division. We have some 740 Volvos and a few Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions. So we've got a selection of equipment, but they are definitely top of the line, newer model trucks. The average age, I believe the average age right now is at 18 months. And yeah, we've got the Epic View. So the Epic View, for those of you who, I was just double checking too, because I know that some people were having problems with their Epic View. If you are, please reach out to the maintenance techs. So we have 24/7 maintenance so that we can take care of that for you because it's a perk to have. We want to make sure it's working for you. But we have the Epic View. Satellite TV is what we've had in the past. We upgraded because it's faster streaming and it offers Wi-Fi for you, free Wi-Fi. So instead of, before we had data, but now it's actually free Wi-Fi for you. So then we've got that. We have 100 plus channels, HBO, Cinemax, Showtime. Sunday Ticket is coming. Fall is coming, slowly but surely. For those of you who don't like heat. Hi, Nick, how are you? So it's coming. And then we also have their double bunk trucks. We have the air conditioners, the APU units, of course. We have refrigerators and microwaves, CB units, and navigation. We have the routing system through the TransFlow unit, the tablet, the Geo tablet. We've got TransFlow. You can also get TransFlow on your to use that instead to scan your documents or take a picture of your document. You can crop it, get the document. Make sure all of your documents are in by Tuesday night, and at least one of them per bill is at least one of them is signed. So we've got to get those in, and you're paid Friday on those. So everything in by Tuesday night is paid on Friday, direct deposit. You get paid mileage pay. However, you have a minimum amount that you'll make. So you'll know you will make at least the $1,000 a week, and that's gross, by the way. You'll make $1,000 a week, and unless your rate of pay per mile and the miles exceed that, because then you're going to get the better of the two. Goal, better of the two. That's why these driver leaders are in full-on training, is to make sure that you guys are maximizing your pay, your miles, your take home, right? We also have, with the minimum pay, by the way, 10 cents with the mileage pay, 10 cents per mile is per diem. That will also reflect in the minimum pay based off of the miles you run. And if you don't meet that minimum pay, say for some reason you didn't, then we would make up the difference, but it would be all taxable versus a per diem amount in the difference. Does that make sense? Okay. Obviously, we want to make sure that we are getting you above and beyond that minimum pay. It's $1,000 minimum. If you're running, if you've got, 10 years of experience in the refrigerated, you're looking at starting at 65 cents a mile. You get a penny raise after 90 days. You get a penny raise annually. The cap right now is at 70 cents a mile. Where flatbed, if you've got 15 plus years of experience, you're looking at starting at 70 cents a mile. So you're at the cap in that flatbed coming out of 15 years. Again, it depends on your experience is going to be reflected in your rate of pay, right? Your rate of pay is based off your experience, is what I probably should have said. Make it a little clearer. So that'll be, and then of course the miles that you run. So obviously for somebody who's more experienced, it's going to take fewer miles to get beyond that minimum pay than it would be for somebody who has less experience, right? Yeah. All right, understood. We have refrigerated, we have flatbed, over the road, more regional, In the flatbed division, we can get you home on a weekly basis if you live in areas of the Midwest, certain areas of the Midwest. We have defined that location a little bit more. Like I said, we're narrowing down those areas. Milwaukee is a great location for us right now. Chicago, Mason City, Iowa, Fort Dodge, of course, Gary, Indiana, Indianapolis, all really good locations for us. Those are going to be our prime areas for success for you guys. And that can get you home on a weekly basis. It's also a minimum of $14.50 a week if you're looking for that home weekly option. Keep in mind that could be some shorter runs versus our over the road, which is a minimum of $1,000 a week, but your possibilities of going beyond that is significantly more in the over the road, obviously, because you're out on the road and able to get some longer lengths of haul. So there's a difference there. In the refrigerated division, it is over the road, whether you're staying east of Denver or if you're going coast to coast. So if you live anywhere east of Denver and you're within the hiring area, then yes, we can get you home every 11 days. And yes, we do hire out of Georgia. We actually have both refrigerated and flatbed options out of Georgia. In the refrigerated, we can get you home every 11 days for 3. In the flatbed, we can get you home every other weekend in that one, as of right now. And you guys, home time can change. So if you're asking a couple months down the road, we might have different available positions down there that offer additional home time. But as of right now, home every other weekend is what we can offer for the flatbed division, and every 11 days for 3 days in the refrigerated. Keep in mind, what I do need to mention is in the refrigerated division, I can't guarantee that you're home on the weekend. Where with flatbed, it's pretty normal with flatbed, but with refrigerated, not necessarily. What did I see for that zip code? Hang on. 46107, right? We do have both refrigerated and flatbed out of your area. And if you're looking for flatbed, hang on, I lost who was asking. Give me a sec here. Okay, so super pooper. We have, yes, for flatbed, $14.50 a week in your area. We can get you home weekly in that location. And then you're getting, so not only home weekly, but usually coming home on a Friday night or a Saturday morning, and then back out either Sunday night or Monday morning, usually for an early Monday morning delivery. That said, your rate of pay per mile is going to be based on your experience level, but the minimum pay for your location is $14.50 a week. So that's your safety net right there. Those are shorter runs if you're looking at that regional position. Those are shorter runs, but again, that you've got that safety net of $14.50. Yep. And then Ian, for the minimum pay in Georgia, minimum is $1,000 a week. That doesn't mean that you wouldn't make beyond that. Remember, that is the minimum. That's the safety net out of there. And that's both for refrigerated and flatbed options. Mm-hmm. A minimum of 6 months of experience is required for the flatbed, Ian. And it has to be flatbed specific experience. Otherwise, it's a year of tractor trailer, and then we can train you in flatbed if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for refrigerated, then it's a little different. We do hire teams. I'm going to have to double check to see if we have a team position available, because I thought we were full. 12 years of experience. My fiance hasn't driven in a while, so might need a refresher. Okay, so if you're going to team, and I do need to double check on this for you, Ian, but our teams are set up a little bit different. So, and what I mean by that is most of the team freight is in the Midwest. Well, that's not as different as I was thinking, but yeah, most of our freight is in the Midwest. But with the team, it's a refrigerated team, okay? And if she needs a refresher, depending on how long she drove before and how long it's been since she drove, we might need to, she might need to get 6 months of experience somewhere or go through a refresher course somewhere else before coming aboard here. But that's more on a case by case, so feel free to elaborate and I can get more specific for you. But with your 12 years of experience in the refrigerated division, let's see, you'd be at 65 cents a mile. You'd be at 65 cents a mile. 10 cents of that's per diem, so you're not taxed on it. This is as a solo, so keep that in mind, because as a team, you're actually, your pay rate's a little bit different. So I'm going to go through that here. So as a solo, you'd be at 65 cents a mile. As a team, if the two of you were able to come on, your years of experience don't necessarily factor into the team pay, because that is on that's like on a graduated pay scale. Is that the best way to put that? Yeah, so Ian, really what that is your base is 60 cents per mile, and that's split to the truck. So whether you're running it or she's running, it's split. So 30-30. 5 cents per mile per individual, so 10 cents per mile, 5 per driver, is per diem. So just like our solo drivers, 10 cents per mile is per diem, and you're just going to see it split between the two of you. And then whatever mileage you guys run as a team, which our teams usually run about 24 to 26,000 a month, you're going to get paid the 30 cents a mile on all those miles. So I'm hitting things, sorry. So you get paid on all of those. Now, that's the base. That's what you're paid every single week, week by week. But at the end of the month, your miles are calculated, and it's the third pay period of the month following when you ran it. So everything that you ran in, say May, is paid the third week of the third pay period of June. Okay, so it's calculated, and if you run between 12 and 14,000 miles for the month as a team, which, by the way, that's very low for our teams. This is how the pay structure goes. But 12 to 14 would get you an extra 2 cents a mile. 14 to 16 would get you an extra 4 cents a mile. 16 to 18, an extra 6 cents a mile. And where all of our teams are really at is anything over 18,000 miles a month will get you an extra 8 cents a mile. Again, split to the truck, so 4 apiece. But that's going to be the bonus. So you're looking at about roughly 1,000 a piece more the third pay period of the month following when you ran it, right? Yeah. Okay, so it is an extra, that's your mileage bonus is paid out once a month, where your miles are paid, you're paid weekly, but you get that mileage bonus once a month. That's where I was going with that. Also, you also can qualify for the scorecard and the safety bonuses, which are both other monthly bonuses that we offer. And the scorecard bonus can get you an extra 4 cents a mile on the miles that you ran, and the safety bonus is an extra penny per mile, so 5 cents a mile total. And you might not get the full 5 cents, or whatever, 4 or 5. You might be getting a penny for all the miles, or 2 or 3, depending on what qualifications you met. So the criteria for the scorecard is you have no CSA violations, no preventable accidents. Those are going to be drop the points, because 1,000 points is your max for the scorecard. That's where you want to be. But if you don't meet expectations, in like if you have a CSA violation or if you have a preventable accident for the month, then you'll lose those points and you'll drop down to 800 roughly in those instances, 800. And so then you would be at, I think, a penny per mile instead of, 825. 825 and above is what would pay you anywhere from 1 to 4 cents more per mile. Your fuel compliance, your idle time, those are deductions, but there's smaller increments than a preventable accident would drop you below payout on those bonuses. What else for criteria? Fuel compliance, idle time, CSA violations, preventable accidents, claims if you had a claim, driver service failure, so if you have a late load on your part, that's what would disqualify you for that. Miles is another one as well. Yeah, and we're looking forward to seeing some larger increases in the miles with our new driver leadership. So very cool. for, oh, the safety bonus. That's based off of our Lytx system. So Lytx is one of our safety features in the truck. And when we're talking technology and innovative, that's one of them. We do have both the inward and the outward facing event recorders. Inward and outward, there we go. The inward one kicks off. It's off once you turn your truck off. It's off. The outward one, that'll stay on for 4 hours. But the inward one will kick on during a critical event. So it'll actually start recording during critical events. The erratic lane change, speeding, following too close, hard braking. Those are things that are triggers, critical events that will trigger the video to start recording. Otherwise, they just rewrite it itself. And we wouldn't see it. It's not a live feed, so it's just rewriting over itself. What else? So those are 2 bonuses in addition, as a team, in addition to that. So Ian, I would highly suggest that you get a hold of one of our recruiters and find out if we have that, and I will do the same, find out if we have a team opportunity in, where are you at? In Georgia. Yeah. So Georgia, for the refrigerated, it would be refrigerated. I'm telling you that right out of the gate. But if it's in Georgia, it would be around the Atlanta area. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is you would need to stay out at least 3 weeks at a time. With our teams, 3 to 4 weeks is about right for the rotation. Because like I said, most of the freight, and this is where I was going originally, but got sidetracked. With our team freight, a lot of the freight is within the Midwest. You start running on some of those, some of them are dedicated. And then when you're headed home, and because you're in Georgia, and even though we have some loads that go into Georgia for the team, a lot of them are in the Midwest. So then we'd work you back that way. But again, where you're located is really important. So highly suggest you get a hold of the recruiting department. 877-433-2537. I wish I had that answer for you. Last I double checked, the teams were full, and that's why I'm concerned. But they would get the heads up before I would. So hopefully that helped you. Yeah, so that's the recruiting department. They'll be able to answer that for sure for you. 82537. All right. Yeah, now, also for benefits kick in after 60 days. You have Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's an 80-20 plan. We have company paid life insurance. We have a 401k with a 50% match. We have company paid, let's see, what else do we have? Oh, $0 prescription. We have the generic. We have specialty and brand name opportunities as well. It just depends on the program and where your prescription falls. So we'll provide you with all of the information so that you can kind of dive deeper into that. But yeah, that's going to be available to you as well, all after 60 days, and we'll help you get signed up for that. Huge savings with the prescriptions. I'm telling you that. If you're wondering about a specific prescription, we'll provide you the resources so you can look them up to find out what they fall under. Specialty, generic, where will you be able to take the most advantage of for savings? Because it makes a huge difference. Like Steve said, $1,800 for one prescription for 1 month. Mind blowing. That's mind blowing to me. That's craziness. The savings, but that's why our HR department works so darn hard on it. I gotcha. That makes sense. What else for benefits? We do have our EAP program, which is free to all of our employees. It's our employee assistance program. It does offer additional counseling, especially with mental health, but not just mental health counseling, but also with financial assistance. If you're trying to figure out financial assistance, if you're trying to figure out estate planning, and there's so many resources available to that. It's crazy because so often we pay for somebody to provide us that information, those resources, when the EAP program has those resources available for free to you, because Decker takes care of that and provides it. So please check that out. It's through Aflac. We also have the on-demand, where the doctor on demand, where you can do the video, like if you have your phone or whatever, and you can do the video chat with the doctor. You can use your tablet as well. So if you are sick and you're out on the road or hurt, you can do that instead of probably getting in and going to the doctor. Especially when we feel like poo, that we don't want to go in, we don't feel good. I don't want to get out of the truck. I just, I don't want to sit in the waiting room for 2 hours. That doctor on demand part is great. Right, it's been very helpful. So that's available to our professional drivers as well. What else do we have? Lots of different supplemental insurances available to you. Short-term, long-term, critical illness, disability. There's a ton. So please check it out. If you're wondering what all we have and what would fit you best, 877-433-2537. I feel like a commercial. And you can get a hold of the recruiting department on that one. They'll be able to help out with more specifics. Yeah. So benefits, equipment. We talked a lot about the equipment, or a little bit about the equipment, but it is newer model, and we've got some beautiful pictures. Jesse sent me some beautiful pictures the other day. I'm going to get some of those posted because they look sharp. Some people just have an eye for photography. I don't know if you see that, but we have a, did I just lean the right way or the wrong way? There we go. We have a calendar that we've done for the last several years, 4 years, I think. Is that right? All of the pictures that are in that calendar are from our professional drivers. They are gorgeous, and we have basically a competition each year to see who will be in those. And so if you're wanting to send in some of your Decker Truckline pictures, then you can send them in to marketing@deckermail.com. And again, I appreciate those of you who've sent those. Some of them come in through Facebook, which is totally cool. We'll take those as well. Whatever is the easiest way to send them, as long as it's a clean file. It's not too small of a file. Like some of the JPEGs are too small. I don't know if that means anything to you guys. As a creative, it kind of does. All right. Well, I do want to thank you guys for joining me today. I will be back next Tuesday. And Ian, again, hopefully we can answer your question on that team availability. Just get a hold of the recruiting department on that one. And then I'll be on TikTok later this week. So we'll visit. If you guys get a chance to join me live there, we'll be on there for a couple of hours later this week. And next Monday at 4 p.m. Central on our Facebook page. So you guys have an awesome rest of your week. We'll see you soon. And again, if you have more questions and you want to reach out to us, it's 877-433-2537. Take care, you guys.